Hello, it's Andy from PCR Global with another quick video from our Walk and Talk series. I'm out in the rain, so I'm going to make this one pretty quick. Today I'm going to talk about something that is, I always say it's critical tonight, but it is decision making. And when we make decisions, sometimes we can live or die by them, and that's not an exaggeration. And sometimes other people can live or die with them. So I'm just going to talk about decision making, sort of what my understanding of it, and how that's linked to bounded rationality. If you don't know anything about bounded rationality, please go away if you're new to risk management and have a look at that. I think everybody should understand bounded rationality, perfect rationality, and the biases that are linked to our decisions, because it's a critical area. So before we do any further, just have a quick check, make sure we are safe and secure. So 3 minutes on decision making. So decision making. When we think back to the discussions we've done so far, they all impact our ability to make good decisions. We talked about competence. If you're making risk-based decisions, they are going to be based on your competence within that area. We've seen a consultant this month being prosecuted for potentially making bad decisions. We don't know the ins and outs of that, but ultimately made bad decisions. Was that down to his competence, or just maybe his own personality, his lack of interest? We won't know that, but competence, which we've talked about before. We talked about stereotyping, prejudice, and discrimination, and how they can lead into each other. That's going to affect our decision making. We talked about personality. So remember, how we think affects how we feel, and then affects how we behave. So personality affects our decision making as well. So bounded rationality. Decision making can get split down into, depending on what you read, 5 steps, 4 steps, 8 steps. But what actually is decision making? We take in the information, we then process the information, and we make a decision. Bounded rationality tells us, I think it's Simon in 1950s, 1960s, bounded rationality is whereby our decisions are bounded. We don't have all the information. They're bounded by potential timelines. They're bounded by our own knowledge. They're bounded by our biases. Biases is a very interesting area. If you're new to risk management, you've got to look at biases. The fundamental attribution area, optimum bias, there's confirmatory bias, there's lots of biases which are good to understand because they affect our decision making. Remember, we're getting paid to make decisions or comment on people's decisions. Groupthink, Janice, I believe, for 82. That's a really good one to understand. Groupthink, whereby if you're in a group of people and they maybe outrank you in your organisation, there you could get roped in, for want of a better word, to agreeing with their decision making. So we end up groupthink. There are a number of risk management methods out there. Delphi technique is a good technique which can try and combat that. But what we have to understand is all the time be mindful that we're operating within a bounded rationality based on our own understanding of the situation. Again, like I said, about the amount of time we've got. Some people would disagree with that. I had an interesting conversation this week, but bounded rationality, the opposite, that is perfect rationality, where we've got all the information. There is no uncertainty. There's no time pressure, and we have the time to sit back and make that decision with perfect rationality. I don't think that's ever going to happen. It certainly doesn't happen for me. The more I think about something, the deeper I get into it. But by making rash decisions, then we can be subject to what's called satisficing. So we know it's not the optimal decision. It's a selection from alternatives, which all decisions are. But satisficing is then when we just make that decision just to satisfy the situation. So we end up with a less than optimal decision. Bearing in mind, we're very rarely going to get an optimal decision. So biases, bounded rationality, very important for us as risk managers. When we're looking at hazard identification, when we are looking at hazards, trying to identify what the hazards are. We talked before again about perception and selective attention. That's all going to impact on our decision making. So decision making is critical. Knowing about bounded rationality is fundamental attribution error. There's a bias in there that's really worth looking into. So that's it really. For me, decision making, every week I make decisions, of course, and so often I'm commenting on other people's decisions. Why didn't they do it this way? Why did they choose to go that way? So please, decision making, it can cost people's lives, and believe you me, I know about that. So thank you very much for watching. Go away, have a look at it. And that does really lead into the old saying, you know what I say all the time, and that's don't trust it, test it. So check your information, check your facts. Thank you very much for watching.